Transitioning on to the struggles that the Los Angeles Rams are having. They've lost their last 3 games after starting out 3-0, and so now there's this big question: are the Los Angeles Rams going to be able to make it back to the playoffs? San Francisco 49ers are undefeated in their division. The Seattle Seahawks are playing lights out also. Now they're at third place in the division, and it's going to be an uphill battle for them to make it to the playoffs. And I came upon this. I've got a good friend that's very active on Facebook, and he's a 49ers homer, to be honest. And he was riding high after the 49ers win, throwing some shade at Sean McVay and the Los Angeles Rams, saying he's overrated. And it's one of these things I enjoy engaging in discussion. And I saw a lot of the 49ers bias coming out. So I had to jump in because I like Sean McVay. I think he's a good coach. And so I couldn't just let my friend say, all these things about him. So I jumped in and we had a good discussion. He talked about how Belichick, figured him out. And I said, well, Belichick, so we're talking about that Super Bowl where the last year where the Rams lost 13-3 to the Patriots, and he's like, "Oh, Tom Brady had a bad game," because I was saying, well, it's not like Tom Brady had a good game in there, and so, and it got me thinking, and because he talked about how Kyle Shanahan was a better, better coach than Sean McVay, and I kind of agreed with him. I tend to think that that Shanahan is a better coach. I know he hasn't had the amount of success that McVay has already early in his career, but you can definitely see in how he runs the team and their offense in particular. It seems like they've got a better foundation, and as I explained, and I got to thinking about this more, we got to think about, Kyle Shanahan has been in this league a long time. He's still young. He came into the league really early with his dad. He was with Houston as the offensive coordinator for several years. Really elevated that team with Matt Schaub and Andre Johnson. He went to Cleveland and had success there with Josh Gordon and Brian Hoyer. He goes to Atlanta, has all that success with Matt Ryan and Julio Jones in them, and then gets the 49ers job. So he had been in the league. He had been the offensive coordinator for a bunch of teams where the head coach was a more defensive-minded coach. Obviously in Houston, Gary Kubiak is a, offensive guy, but, Kyle's calling plays. He goes to Cleveland. He completely runs the show. He goes to Atlanta, completely runs the show. Now he's in San Francisco running the entire show. Whereas we look at Sean McVay, his only spot at an offensive coordinator position was with the Washington Redskins, but he was under Gruden, offensive-minded head coach who called plays. And so where I'm getting with this is, with the Rams' struggles, McVay's never really had a chance to kind of work through this. He comes in, limited time as an offensive coordinator, comes in, he's experiencing his first big problems as a play caller, this season when they've lost, these 3 games in a row. Last year, when they went to the Super Bowl, yeah, they had a bad game here and there, but that was about it. Whereas a guy like Kyle Shanahan, he's had rough patches in Houston. He's had rough patches at times in Cleveland. With Atlanta, he's had that experience at those different spots that he can draw from. So when they do have struggles, last year without Jimmy Garoppolo, now he can kind of learn from those things, and they've made him a better coach. We're seeing Sean McVay have to work through those same problems with the Rams as he's the head coach. And so I think I'm not too worried about the Rams. They've got too much talent all over the field. Sean McVay is a talented offensive mind. Teams may be figuring them out a little bit. And, they like to run a lot of that outside zone, and that got kind of cut off in this last game. A lot of stuff that they do, he's got to adapt. And I'm really curious to see how he does over the next several weeks of how he can change things and put new wrinkles on things, and we'll see him have more success. But it's, if he struggles a little bit longer, that's natural, and I don't think we need to panic. I think we just got to realize that this is a young coach who's kind of hitting adversity for the first time. How is he going to respond to that?